Actually, it stands as a testament to the value of games making the platform rather than the platform making the games.
Yeah.
Which is a really big rabbit hole that I could go down right now. Welcome to Game Club. It's like a book club, but about games. My name's Brian Belcher. I'm joined with Brittany Saturn.
Hey, guys.
Also, Chris It's the Hutch Hutcherson. And this month, we're talking about Monument Valley. So, Brittany, did you like the game?
Yes.
How about you, Hutch? You like that game?
I sure did.
I like the game, but with a bit of a caveat. And that is the fact that I would have liked it more if it was not on the phone.
Yeah, actually, I was going to say that, I mean, I love this game so much. It's like such an awesome game. I would like to see it on a bigger console.
Yeah.
All right, well, here's my question to you. If it were on a tablet, which you can play this game on, would that make it better for you?
Yes, and I don't own a tablet, which is probably the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I might be satisfied if I had a tablet, but I'm just thinking it'd be really cool to see it on a console. I'm thinking maybe like a Wii U would be the only one that would really work with it, because it's kind of like a touch screen.
Something that was really cool when I recorded the footage for this game for this episode, and it was actually my first time and only time playing this game. I actually had it on full screen on my computer because of taking the audio source out and recording it. And there's a lot of times I wish I could have just touched my screen instead of Brittany's phone.
Mm-hmm.
So. Which I also used Brittany's phone, which was an iPhone 6. I have an iPhone 5. It's much smaller. And it would have been...
Got the plus over here.
I got the S Plus. It's pretty easy to play, so I didn't have any issues playing it with this, but granted, it's a 5.5-inch screen.
Exactly. And which brings us to another thing. This is an iOS game. It's also on Android, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it is.
But it's not something that would generally be played by the gaming public, although this specific game was reported on quite a bit. It was a pretty big game for gamers as well.
And I've seen it listed in a lot of lists that were like great games of the year. It came out in 2014.
Yeah,
it was. So they had a promotional period with the App Store with Project Red.
Okay.
And this was one of those games that was also part of it. So it was right there in front of you when you opened the App Store. They lowered the price to $1, I think.
Okay.
And they added an extra free DLC portion called Ira's Red Dream.
Okay.
But that's a little extra bit that we can touch on a little bit later. There's not much to it. It's just extra.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a couple.
So maybe we don't need to touch on it.
Well, that brings us into the meat and potatoes of the game. The story. Now, a lot of people who are watching this are like, "That's the meat and potatoes," because gameplay could be argued that was the big part of that game. And I think, in actuality, the gameplay and the story were they're kind of inseparable.
Yeah, they pretty much have to stay together.
Whereas, say for another game that this game definitely references not references, excuse me. Well, I guess in some ways it does reference it near the end. Fez. It's very similar to the story of Fez.
Well, I believe I read that Fez was an inspiration for this game.
Yeah. And obviously we've talked about this earlier. Another inspiration gameplay wise was Echochrome.
Yeah.
Which actually I think this game outdid Echochrome. Oh, yeah. As far as gameplay is concerned.
Well, I was going to lead it more into, stylistically, because Echochrome's super simple.
Very monochromatic.
This game is very colorful. It's stylistically very well done, and, yeah. Okay,
well, so, Brittany, what did the story mean for you?
Okay, well, the first time I played it, I felt like there was this great mystery. I was going to unsolve this fantastic ending or something like that. And then I got to the end, and it didn't spell it out for me. And I guess I was a little irritated because I was like, no, there has to be more. Like, I have to know the secrets to this game. But the more I thought about it, I guess the more I liked that it did that in a way. For me, like what I thought it was about, I have like notes here. I think that maybe like Ida's people, like the crow people, I think that her people stole the sacred geometry's power, and she's going back through the monuments and giving that power back. Because she takes her hat off, and then the geometry like floats over the little base thing that you have to get to, and it's almost like she's giving the power back.
That totally makes sense.
Because the like wise man or whatever that she talks to, he mentions that she's a thieving princess a lot.
Yeah.
And that they stole something from his people, I guess. So that's what I was thinking. And that maybe her people were like cursed or something, because it's referenced that she is a crow, and that's something that you find out at the end. Maybe her wings got taken away or something like that. I don't know.
Something that I thought was really clever, and I noticed it before the reveal, but just barely before the reveal, is that the crows and her were the exact same shape, but she was just backwards. And I like how it looks human backwards the way it was. Just overall aesthetically, I thought that was really clever. But going back to the story, I like your version of it better than mine.
Well, go ahead and tell us about your version.
Mine was very straightforward. I didn't read too far into it. I thought that C was stealing the sacred geometry, kind of the opposite of what
like she was in the process of stealing it?
Yeah.
Oh,
like she was taking it. And that she was empowering herself and the people of the crows. But granted, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense now that I think about it. Now I think about your way.
Well, the first, I think in the garden, I think once it, like when you start that level, it says like the title says a garden, and then underneath it says something like Ida's journey for forgiveness or something like that.
Okay. So
that's kind of like what I was getting out of it, that she was basically in charge of going back and bringing back this power that her people had stolen. So
okay.
So I actually kind of thought of it more along the lines that you did.
Okay.
But, I also wasn't thinking super deep into it. It was hard for me to kind of like really figure out what's going on, because it doesn't give you a lot. It gives you bits and pieces along the way. So I did think that she was taking these monuments for whatever reason. I like to think maybe, so it's revealed that she's maybe a queen, some sort of royalty at the end. Maybe she was, she couldn't take the pressure of being, in such a prestigious role. So she took all the monuments and, booked it for New York City, where she could become, the next star on Broadway.
If you can make it there, you can make it anywhere.
Exactly. But, clearly we're she obviously didn't make it. She went back. She realizes, I did a really shitty thing. Maybe I should unshit this. And so, going through and returning all the monuments. And it's funny. So in the chapter 6, where you get introduced to the totem, I like to think that the totem was also in on it.
Like her little henchman.
Yeah. Because she comes across all these crow people, but they're not her friends. They don't seem to be her friends. They're not here to help her.
They're hindering her process.
They're hindering her progress, yeah. So for whatever reason, the totem pole helped her steal all these things. I mean, it's the only way. Well, assuming that in order to get to these monuments, you have to take the same path each time. The totem pole helped her through chapter 5, and then 9 again, where the totem pole returns. And it's kind of funny, because when at the end of chapter 5, she leads away on this platform, and you see the totem pole chase after her and appear to drown in water as they're running. She's floating away, but then the totem pole comes back and number 9. So it's not a noble sacrifice, and I was disappointed that the totem pole did not nobly sacrifice.
I was super happy that he came back. I was really sad when he died.
I was both relieved because A, I was sad.
It was so cute.
And now you're happy.
But I was also upset because it destroyed the imagery of 5. Because the last bit is a very iconic image of a very pink red wall, and you're just floating away, and this totem is slowly chasing after you and really wants to be your friend, and you're just kind of letting it die. You don't know it's coming back at that point.
I thought that maybe the totem was like a tool that the people use to either navigate or create the monuments.
Yeah.
And that almost in a way, maybe like a second-class citizen almost.
Okay.
Because they're not as important. Maybe they're seen as kind of dumb, like whatever. You just totem. But I think that, I don't know.
Kind of like a dog, the way that it was coming along.
Yeah, kind of. I could see that.
It definitely had that kind of drown itself to, go after you kind of thing.
So what did you guys think about the descent when she went down into the bottom of the cave and there was tombs of all the people down there? What did you guys think about that?
Honestly, at that point, I was kind of racing towards the end. So,
I didn't care.
Well, honestly, it's kind of news to me. You're the one pointing it out to me right now.
Well, she had that little red flower, and she walked down and put the little red flower on one of the tombs.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember that.
The part that stayed with me with that stage was when she walks through the mirror of her actual self is going by. And that's the thing that has stuck with me from that stage.
Okay.
So I didn't really the descent. I mean, it looked cool. Obviously, shape wise, there's a lot of stuff aesthetically I can talk about with that stage. But as far as the story, I guess that went against what my internal story was, so I didn't really pay attention to it.
Okay.
Sorry, that was fun.
I mean, it
didn't follow my flow, so I'm just ignoring what's happening right here. Substitute my own reality.
So you've only played this game one time.
I've only played this game one time.
And how many times do you think you've played it?
I played it twice.
I've played it more times than I can count. I have no idea how many times I've played it. Because I just love this game so much.
By the way, if you can't tell, Brittany suggested this game for Game Club.
Surprise! I was super surprised that this game was an iOS game because I don't really like iOS games that much. I mean, I'll play them.
I don't either.
I'll play them to pass the time if I'm sitting around waiting somewhere. But I don't really get into iOS games like this. I'm not oh, this is so awesome. But this game, I just feel you're in the wrong spot, buddy. You should not be in iOS section. You should be over here with the consoles.
Actually, it stands as a testament to the value of games making the platform rather than the platform making the games.
Yeah.
Which is a really big rabbit hole that I could go down right now. That's the way I feel about iOS games. My favorite iOS game is Jetpack Joyride, and that is complete time waster.
Yeah.
There's no real lasting cultural influence that game could give us.
Before this game, I was Pocket Frogs, Tiny Towers.
and which is funny because when you told me Monument Valley, you were like, "Hey, we should do Monument Valley on Game Club." I was like, "What?" Okay, sure.
No, it's actually really cool.
So
to bring it back though to that part, I like to think of it as
which part?
The level in general.
Okay.
Bringing the flower down to the graves. I like to think that it's maybe her parents.
Okay.
She's felt
the king and queen.
The king and queen felt, and I don't remember if the grave was the size of one or two people. I don't know.
Well, actually, it was an entire room full of people.
No, there was. Yeah, I've got nothing on that. But I figured she's trying to apologize somewhat, show a nice gesture, and try to make amends for the all the things that she's done.
Yeah.
So,
and I should have listened to my parents. I was never going to make it in Hollywood or Broadway, and damn it.
I might be getting a little too deep here, and this might be more of a subject for me and you, because I don't think you've really dived down this hole that me and Brittany have gone down before. But what's that say about So I think we're both on board with your storyline right now. Okay.
Okay.
And
I mean, sure, I guess.
I guess. I said I assumed.
Hutch likes to think that she's on her way to Broadway.
Okay.
To be a star.
For some reason, the Bee Gees song about Broadway just popped in my head. Anyways. But let's just assume we're on your storyline, for example. What does it say about, less about the culture, but the effect of sacred geometry on her culture about sacred geometry? What does that say about, like, that entity as I guess in a lot of ways not just a religious item, but a god?
I think maybe sacred geometry had a power that maybe her people didn't fully understand, but they wanted, so they, stole it maybe.
So you're saying that it had the same effect as, say, the Holy Grail at the end of Indiana Jones 3, where the guy literally melts away?
Yeah. And I think maybe the tomb was maybe just like a mixture of her people who had died, and maybe people before her who had tried to do the same journey that she's done but failed.
Okay.
So I think because it's implied in the very first, the very first time you meet the wise man, he mentions how you've been traveling for so long, you've wandered so far. What are you doing here, basically? So yeah. I think maybe this has been a journey that maybe she's been trying to do for a while.
Okay. Maybe it does look like it's taking a toll at a certain point.
Yeah.
And especially when it comes back to the black monolith and sacred geometry, that last stage is, I think, a perfect representation of the length of time that it's taken her to get to where she needs to go. Mm-hmm. Because that stage, I mean, while it's not, I wouldn't say the game is hard, but it's definitely the most
tricky parts.
That last stage is the most mindfuckiest of the rest of the game.
Yeah, it is. I would definitely say that number 10 is the more, like, it's harder than any other.
Oh yeah, I mean, and like the last stage should be.
Obviously,
but and I guess that let's carry that segue on to gameplay. How did you feel about the game's, like, the architecture of the game?
I really liked the way it was laid out. I did have a couple of problems where, particularly in the descent, there was a section where you had to, like, twist a little turny thing, and the paths, there was, like, a bunch of different paths, and they were, like, going up and down, and I could not get them to line up. And this was, like, the first time I played through it, it lined up perfectly for me. The second time I played through it, it would not line up. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? And only because I had played through the first time, I knew that it was supposed to line up, but I felt like it was kind of like maybe a bug. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. And then the first time I played the box, I had trouble, like, I could lift the box up, but I couldn't, like, do anything else with it. It just wouldn't work for me. I had to close the game and open it a couple of times. And I actually had to look at a walkthrough online because it wasn't working. That
stage was...
But that was only the first time I played it. It gave me trouble.
That stage made me say, wow, out loud. The box.
Yeah.
That was intricate. That was a piece of art. And I was impressed at every layer that I kept unfolding on that stage. I just was like, holy shit, this is blowing my mind.
Yeah, the box was definitely, after I got over that speed bump, it was definitely one of my favorite stages. But I think there were a couple of little bugs in it, but nothing, it didn't make the game unplayable.
The level's kind of like the pop-up books that you used to have when you were kids. Kind of harkens you back to that sort of feeling, and like oh, there's this new section. Oh, it's something brand new, and it keeps unfolding. There's so much more to discover and figure out.
So much to look
it
at.
was like I agree with you. It was like a pop-up book inside of a wind-up music box.
Oh, I like that, yeah.
And
true.
and it was just unfolding and reopening, and it just had so much to it that stage, while aesthetically, I have trouble saying this. I'm not sure. It may not be my favorite. It's up there. There's a couple other stages I thought were prettier, but it's the fact that how pretty it was based on how intricate it was. I just was like, I can't believe how well designed this is. This is so just
Yeah,
like
it was
mind-blowingly
perfect.
pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
it went for a much simpler kind of tone in that everything was kind of what's the word? Neutral? I guess neutral until
Yeah.
you started to peel back the layers in each section, and then
Which were perfectly color-coded.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfectly
Okay.
color-coded.
Yeah.
So we kind of skipped over gameplay a little bit and went right into aesthetics.
I don't
Did
know.
you guys run into
I
any
think they're
bugs
kind
or
of
anything?
intertwined.
Any trouble?
Not really. I felt that some parts were a little weird, like, so it uses kind of like the Lego pop-out block kind of aesthetic to denote what you can move around, like up and down, to open up different paths. And I felt that sometimes they weren't as easily, they weren't as obvious, I guess. Like, especially some of them had like them on the very bottom, which meant you can rotate the whole level. But sometimes it's just me, but I goofed up a lot of parts there.
There was a couple of times where, like, I had trouble keeping my mind over, like, oh, this side is where this opening is and whatnot. And granted, I'm usually pretty great about, like visual puzzles like that. But there was a couple of times that I had trouble with it. But just because of how easy it was to use with the pointing and the clicking on the iPhone, it didn't give me too much of a hassle. Every now and then, I'd be like, it wasn't too hard to just go back and remind myself what the other side looked like, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Most of the time, the only problem I had was making sure that the princess was in the correct area at the right time, which became especially a big issue with, I believe it's...
the Spire. Level 5.
The Spire was one of them.
That's with the crow people.
Yeah.
Is that like...
Okay,
What
yeah.
you think
No,
of?
I'm thinking of the Rookery.
Okay, well that's also dealing with the...
Yeah,
crow people.
and that was...
That's
it was
with
still-
like levels or level levers and like buttons and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
You
And you
had
just
to,
had to, like...
Yeah, that's right.
You had to place her around in exactly the right spots.
Yeah.
That was, and that's part of the gameplay. I understood it, but it was definitely the most hassle of the rest of the game. I kind of wanted the game. It needed some more complexity, but I enjoyed the complexity of the puzzle less, of just moving her around than I did of just having these obstacles that would stop. I don't know.
I don't know. That didn't really bother me. I think I'm
Okay.
just being lazy.
I definitely.
Yeah.
I'm
I
always.
thought that added an extra element to the game that you didn't have before. Something
Oh
cool.
yeah, certainly.
Extra obstacle.
I was
But-
kind of disappointed that you couldn't play as them because the way it starts the level, it's just that crow, but then
But you are playing as one of
the
them.
first time I played,
Well, yeah.
the first time I played it, I thought that if I got near the crow, it would kill me.
Yeah,
So
that
I
actually.
made sure that I stayed well away from the crow. And it wasn't until later in the game that I realized, oh, if I get in its way, it just squawks at me. Oh, okay.
Just a
I
big-
was like deathly afraid of the crows. Like, don't go near them.
Just a
They
big-
just looked so like they were gonna kill me. I don't
big
know.
bad puppy dog.
That's a man's soul.
God. So I definitely loved the way this game looked. That was like obviously one of my favorite things about it. Just the colors were so beautiful, and I think that they took a large portion of the game from one of my favorite artists, MC Escher.
Yeah. Which is funny, we were actually at the museum today, and they had an MC Escher exhibit that we need to go see.
Yeah.
But but yeah, we definitely MC Escher. But for
Like there are some levels that they straight up just took from an MC Escher drawing painting. Especially, I know you guys haven't played it, but in the DLC Forgotten Shores, there's a part with like a waterfall, and it's where the water is constantly flowing in a circle. It's like coming
Okay,
down a
yeah.
waterfall and then going back up,
okay.
and that is straight from MC Escher. You can probably throw up the painting
Yeah,
for
I could.
viewers to see.
But for me, a big part of the influence was actually Turkish illustrations.
Okay, yeah,
Specifically with colors.
with the architecture. and
Yeah,
stuff
the
too,
architecture, the colors. There's one stage with the Sailor Moon,
Yeah.
I don't know how else to describe it, but it's like that little tiny full slither of a circle, you know?
Uh-huh.
And that stage was gorgeous. I think visually that was my favorite stage. But it definitely reminds me of a lot of Islamic influences.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really into that because I was just like, this is not something I normally see. So I was really happy with the pastels. The pastels were a nice touch. And overall, just I think everything had a really great flow with each other. Everything, there was not one part of it like the Islamic touches, the colors, the MC Escher approach of designing the levels and whatnot. I think they all flowed very well with each other. So I think that was a big part of it for me, is that there was no glaring point of their influences where I was just like, that might not have worked so well.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What was your guys' favorite looking stages?
I think my favorite one, besides from the box, I really loved the labyrinth.
Okay.
I thought that was really cool. I just like the color. I also like the water palace too. I thought it was really awesome. I like the colors in it.
Yeah, I like the stage you mentioned. Trying to
Trying to remember
all of them and associate them with the names. The nighttime stage I liked. I did like the descent a lot.
Okay. The descent definitely had the right mood attached to what they were trying to get you to have. So as far as like design goes, I think that one was definitely on point.
Yeah.
Observatory, I think, also had a really good color palette choice, as it was a very strong space gradient.
Mm-hmm. I remember just being lots of really bright colors on that.
Yeah.
Maybe, unless I'm remembering it wrong.
I think that's like once you get through the rooms, there's like 3 rooms in the observatory.
Mm-hmm.
And like in that main room he's talking about, it's like really dark because it's like in space almost.
The main
but
room
once
is
you walk
dark, but the other 3 rooms
are the other doors, it gets really bright.
Yeah.
So that's probably what you remember.
Okay.
Especially that bright yellow one that's a circle that has all the crows on it.
Mm-hmm.
That one is especially like tricky as hell. That was probably the part that bothered me the most. And yeah, that one's definitely bright and sunny and
I do remember that one. Of all the stages I remember that one. Because that was giving me a little bit of trouble the second time I played it.
That's probably like the only thing I can really say is I think we're all having a little bit of, and you've played this a lot, so I think this is a strong statement, is the fact that because of the color palette and because of the designs of the stages and whatnot, I think we are having a little trouble like differentiating each stage from one another because of how well the design, like the aesthetics flowed from one stage to another, which I don't think is a problem, as it made the game cohesive.
In this game, it's more so the design of the puzzles and how they lay out things. Like you told me the yellow like circle like level. Like I remember that because that's pretty distinct. The box is super
Definitely.
distinct.
Yeah.
But everything else, aside from the descent is super distinct as well.
Yeah, that's because it was the one dark stage.
But the rest of them, like they're relatively comparable. Like nothing super. I don't think anything really stood out a ton.
I think they tried, especially with like the moon stage. They had that pink stage with the giant walls.
Yeah.
So they tried to get each stage to have its own feeling, and it does.
I don't know. They stick out for me.
Okay.
I guess it depends on the person, but for me in this game, it's the experiences going through the level, like how I get through them, how it's designed, rather than how it's looking, and like all everything around it.
Yeah.
That's more so what I remember.
All right. Well, Brittany, let's go ahead and get right down to it. How did this game make you feel?
Well, curious.
Okay.
I wanted to know the mystery behind it. It felt very mysterious to me. I guess after I played it a couple of times and kind of uncovered the mystery, it's kind of calming in a way for me. I don't know. Like playing the levels, even though they're puzzles, it's almost like just my brain relaxes when I play it.
Okay.
So, makes me feel happy.
All right. How about you, Hutch? How did the game make you feel?
Made me feel pretty relaxed. It's for the most part bright. It's a very simple game. The puzzles aren't too bad until you get towards the last one. We won't even talk about the DLC, which they up the ante a lot more. But a lot of times when I play, I don't think too much into it. I just kind of go and just let the experience kind of speak for itself. And it didn't give me much story to go on. I just kind of went with it, and
you were more attached to the gameplay more than anything.
Yeah, more so because the gameplay is front and center. The story is more of a backseat thing, in my opinion, to it.
For myself, I like to think of this game as a very interesting book that has a very slow pace, and you're reading it in a comfy chair and a nice, really dim light, and you could go to sleep, but it's engaging just enough to keep you awake. Now, that's sometimes not the case. I have fallen asleep playing this game.
You know what? The only thing that's missing from your picture is the bottle of.
I need some bourbon or something. Just shake it around with some ice. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I agree with that. And that's kind of how that game makes me feel. It's but at the end of the day, the game made me feel that, and with the occasional stage, like the box and like the ending of the game made me feel like I was smarter than I normally feel.
I can see that, yeah.
Like, I'm like, holy shit. Like, when I first saw the box, I was like, what the fuck am I looking at? But the fact that I was able to figure it out is less, and while at the time I was totally like, yeah, I'm smart. That's more an achievement for the designers than it is for me, because it was a fantastically made puzzle. And there's a lot of those in the game. It looks
overwhelming at first.
Yeah.
There's no way I can figure this out.
Yeah, all the puzzles.
But the more you play around with it, the more you move either around, you figure out, like, oh, this isn't too bad at all.
Exactly.
I bet it's very overwhelming to someone who doesn't play games normally.
And that is actually something that I wonder about with it being an iOS game.
Yeah.
As seeing how mostly non-gamers or people who don't like the term or consider themselves the term gamer would more likely play that game more than most gamers, or at least at the same level.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder how it did.
I don't know. My sister, she doesn't play too many games. Not really. She plays like Animal Crossing, stuff like that. And every single time I go over to her house, she takes my phone and she loves playing that game. Like, she'll play for hours.
That's one thing.
And she moves a lot slower in it than, like, we would. But she loves to play it, though.
What sister are you talking about? Your older Caitlin? Caitlin plays it? Okay.
So I'll talk about her
every game club. Go and mention Caitlin.
So I don't remember in the tutorial, level 1, does it give a visual representation of how basic movement goes? Does it put you on one path and tell you how you go from A to B?
Yeah.
Okay, then then the barrier to entry is a lot less than I was thinking, because I wasn't sure I forgot if it threw you directly into the goodness or.
It just puts you in like a very simple puzzle. It tells you like tap here to move, and you do that, and then it tells you to turn the little wheel to adjust the path, and then the path moves.
Yeah.
And then you see it from a basically different perspective, and she's able to continue.
Yeah.
Also, aesthetically, I think it appeals more to non-gamers as well. Whereas, like, for example, you, I, Brittany, and most anyone from Half Empty Energy Tank, we like varied experiences. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people who look at like the journalistic like aspect of gaming appreciate variety. I think most gamers, let's say, I'm just going to go ahead and call it the Call of Duty type gamer. like, whereas like, I play Call of Duty and I play Madden. Those are the games I play. If that's you, I don't know if this game was after you as a market. Hutch, I realize you play those games, but you also play other games.
Okay, sorry, I just had to. Anyway, yeah, I'm definitely not the typical Dubro who does all that, but
yeah, I know you have Dubro tendencies.
I
But
think when I think of people who are really into those types of games, I think maybe the people you're talking about maybe like younger.
Yeah, I'm talking about
like
teenage. I'm talking about
generation.
Xbox Live users.
Because I feel like our generation, we could like those games, but we also like other games because, I mean, fuck, we've been playing games forever now.
Yeah. I guess
I
I'm just
think you're
judgy
talking
as
about
fuck.
like the teenagers who are like on Xbox Live.
Yeah.
Like, show me your tits, you know?
Yeah, those guys. Yeah. I mean, I like a good pair of tits.
They probably won't like Monument Valley. And there we go.
is that what the bumper to the
Guys on 3, and I like tits. We're not doing that. Thank you, Jairus.
That's great.
Okay, so do you have what would your final thoughts be on that?
I mean, I love the game so much. I want more. Please make more levels. Also, I love the way the game looked so much that I looked into buying prints of the game.
That's right.
But if you buy it from the studio, it's like $80 for a picture.
We were looking at some
It's
really
really
cool stuff by
expensive.
some independent artists, though, that were stunning, and they were like affordable. They were really nice, if I remember correctly. They were really good wall scrolls.
Cool.
So, Hutch, what would you say is your final thoughts?
It's a very nice game. It's not something that's very unique. It's unique, but Echo Chrome has been out there before, so I've seen this before. I think I haven't played much of Echo Chrome, but
it definitely plays better than Echo
it
Chrome.
executes a lot better because I know with Echo Chrome you could. I don't know. Both of them did this. You play with the you can play with the Move controller.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll have to try that.
We should try that.
But like that sort of game is definitely made for the touch screen. I think it plays very well for that. It's a great mobile game, casual game, and I'm glad I played it. The DLC is pretty good and it's very challenging, and it's a nice shot in the arm because I did feel like while it was good and entertaining, it was fairly easy and simple, like as you went through the main game. But the DLC will more than supply the challenge that the main game was probably missing.
The game is $2 or $2 or $3. How much is that now?
Exactly.
Anyways, it's not an expensive game. It offered me.
Buy that! Buy it!
It offered me 2 hours of running through it as fast as I could entertainment, and it's a great game. I felt like it was definitely like a Fez light as far as like story went. And I thought it was better than Echo Chrome. So it's as far as influences
It's like those
go,
two mixed together.
Yeah, it really is.
Those two had a child. It would be Monument Valley.
And it actually,
What a beautiful baby.
what a
Not to be
beautiful
confused with Monument Valley in the Arizona-Utah state line, the park.
You mean the place where they have concerts?
No, I mean...
Oh, Monument
In the
Valley with
desert.
Yosemite.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Anyways, guys, it was a fantastic game. I really enjoyed it. I was not expecting to like this game, and I did. Honestly, I'm surprised at how good it is. It's a great iOS game, and it really stands up for games on iOS or in mobile in general. So definitely go play it. And this has been our second episode of Game Club.
We did it.
We did another one. Guys, next month we're going to be playing Unfinished Swan. So I believe that is a PS3 or PS4 exclusive. It's also on Vita. I don't know.
Yeah, it's...
Nobody has a Vita.
Nah, not really. There goes Hutch again. Oh boy, it's on it though. I believe
It's on PS4, crossplay. If you've got it on PS3, then I think it unlocks it for PS4,
Okay.
And I think it is on Vita as well.
Okay, well it's on Sony systems, so go pick it up. It's what we're playing next month, and we will see you then, guys. Go check out Brittany's Dear Diary. Go check out this guy on Wednesday nights on our Twitch. It's Hanging with Hutch. You can see me on Fridays on Brian B. Crying. And I do. Should we just do what we did last time? I'm really terrible at goodbyes. We did I don't know. It could be about the tits or the busting feels good. I don't know what to say right here, Brittany.
Well,
you need to stop me. You need to stop me, or I'm going to keep talking.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
See you next month.
It's a good thing we didn't go into tits make me feel good. do the mash. Do the monster mash.
Titties make me feel good.
They make me feel that. All right. There's the end of the video right there.
I really wanted to. I didn't want to kill your flow, but I was actually curious. Why did you think that? Why did you not expect to like it?
And
maybe we can add this in later on.
maybe, I don't know. iOS, basically. I tried playing it, and when Brittany first started playing it, like over a year ago, and I was just like, it seems cool. And then I fell asleep to it, and then I never gave it a chance again. And I don't know. It's just a gut feeling that I'm like,
Brian's a scrub.
I'm not gonna, I guess it's the whole. Honestly, I do this with a lot of things nowadays. I just like, do I really want to spend time on this? I got so little time and so many things to fill time with.
Gotcha.
And I'm just like,
You need something that's either like an established franchise, like Metal Gear,
which I've been spending way too much time.
Yeah, or the Yoshi game, like that's. You know that you're going to have a good time with.
Yeah.
And it's potentially flashier. Like, this game doesn't, like...
It doesn't scream, hey, Brian, you're really going to get into this, and it's going to be your new thing. Honestly, if Brittany hadn't gotten really into it, I probably never would have finished that game.
This game's definitely a word-of-mouth game. Kind of like Gone Home.
Yeah.
Gone Home was a word-of-mouth game.
Yeah,
there's two.
So, yeah.
I don't like mainstream games, so I like these.
I'm glad to know that you actually like video games.
That's a big lie.
Yeah.
Brittany likes video games.
I don't like anything.
I actually, some days I wonder if I like video games. I've gotten to the point that I've thought about it. I'm like, man, I like very specific games now. Like, I used to be the kid that was like, I like it. It's a video game. I'm going to play it. But I don't do that too much anymore. Now I'm like, oh, I know my genres. I'm going to play those. Oh, someone made this game. It's outside of my genre. But it's from, it's that one specific game in that genre I like. I'll play it.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know. I don't really have genres. I'm like, oh, I'll play this game. Oh, this is stupid.
You like cute things.
Like, oh, this is cool. Yeah, I like cute things. But
That's
is that
true.
really a genre?
I don't know if it's a genre, but as far as
I'm going to go to the GameStop and be like, hey, give me a cute game.
They'll give you Hello Kitty or Cooking Mama.
I've already played all the Cooking Mamas.
You have. Gardening Mama.
Gardening Mama.
Crafting
Mama, where she actually has to keep track of an infant.
Baby Mama.
Nurse this child to adulthood.
I'll stick with cooking.
It's kind of the same thing. You're letting this child cook into an adult just over a period of years.
No. No.
Yep. All right.